Thanks for watching the #1 podcast in the whole entire YouTube wrestling community, and I'm one of your hosts, Swanzo. Tonight, riding solo, Jean-Paul is taking care of all their assignments, so he's going to be with you guys for what is going to be WWE Monday Night Raw review. Welcome to the Rebellion 2021 Impacts review. We're going to be talking about this great pay-per-view, like a lot of matches, and also the build-up, the anticipation, the hype for this historic night. You know, two champions that they were like unified, and we're gonna get one champion only. It's gonna be Rick Swann, Impact champion, going against the AEW Kenny Omega. What happened? We're gonna find out in just a little bit, family. Thank you for the subscriptions. Thank you for everything you do for the channel. Don't forget, the ones that are new to the channel, please subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. Also, when you get to the video, give it a like so it gets higher in the rankings. But family, I think that like a lot of matches were pretty good, you know, good action, and like the winners, most of them were the right winners, so I like that. So please, you know, just be with me and enjoy the ride, because we're going to be talking about every single thing that happened here in Rebellion. But before that, you know, don't forget to help us with like also watching like the Smackdown review that we have, WWE Smackdown, on that Friday night that we always do. If Bryan doesn't win, then he leaves for good. Daniel Bryan is going to have another Universal Championship match with Roman Reigns, and if he doesn't win, then he's going to be out of Smackdown. He's going to be leaving the blue brand. There's a lot of like hype with like Daniel Bryan saying that his contract is about to expire, so we'll see where he ends up going, because he said maybe he will not renew with the WWE, or he would like to go to NXT, just because there's a lot of matchups that he can have over there. For example, Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly. He's been saying that he would like to do maybe a tour before he retires, going to every single one of the other promotions. So we'll see what Daniel Bryan does, but maybe this is the way to ride him off TV. We'll see what happens. This is going to be a pretty stacked card for when it's going to be SmackDown, just because it's going to be this match, Universal Championship match, and also Intercontinental Championship match, Big E against Apollo Crews. So be with us with this review. Help us out, family. So now let's talk about Rebellion 2021. Like I mentioned, this pay-per-view started with like a lot of all the Impact stars like hyping up the match with Kenny Omega, Rick Swann. Eric Young was one of them, supporting, of course, Impact Zone Rick Swann. He's saying that he has a lot of big heart, a lot of passion. The guy, like, they're supporting him. It's like, he's our guy, he's our champion, we believe in him, we know that he's the right guy, he can beat Kenny Omega. So that was what he said. Also, then Kenny Omega and Don Callis will start talking, and then Don Callis started like mentioning how good Rick Swann is, but at the same time, as good as he is, then Kenny Omega is even better. You know, the god of wrestling, like this match has been like 3,000 years in the making, all of that. So like Don Callis again hyping up the match, how like them have been making history, how like them, Scott D'Amore, Don Callis have been able to save Impact, putting Impact Wrestling back on the map, you know, because of the days of like Hulk Hogan, Eric Bischoff, when they actually dropped Impact to the ground. But now the reborn, you know, the resurgence of Impact under like this inside that they have Don Callis and now Scott D'Amore, and actually able to bring this alliance for AEW and now Impact and also New Japan Pro Wrestling. So that's what they had to say. So now the first match that opened the show was actually for the X Division Championship triple threat match. TJP, champion Ace Austin, and Joseph Alexander. An absolutely great way to open the show, just because these three guys can absolutely give us good matches. TJP, you know, the athleticism, you know, the speed. Same thing with like Ace Austin. These two guys know how to like give you like a really paceful match, like a lot of speed, a lot of high risk moves, you know, a lot of counters. And then Joseph Alexander, even Matt Striker said like he's the overall wrestler right here. So we got to see a pretty enjoyable triple threat. You know, like, and this one I didn't even know who was going to win, because everybody had a fair chance to win it. You see a lot of near falls, a lot of counters. Like I mentioned, for example, here you guys can see in the picture, like a lot of like back and forth between the three guys. You know, the Ace Austin will take them on the outside. He will do like a suicide dive. He connects on that. Then we got to see like a superplex from all three of them. Also at the same time, it was like a butterfly underhook. So a pretty good match, like I said. And you know, the main story here is like who's gonna win. Ace Austin is he gonna retain? Is he still gonna be the champion? Or we're gonna see TJP one more time? Or we're gonna see Joseph Alexander winning like a singles title on Impact, because of course of the North. Great run as a tag team with like also Ethan Page. But in this picture, this is great because it was a double submission. You see Joseph Alexander having like the ankle lock onto Ace Austin, and then TJP having like his submission move onto like Joseph Alexander. So like you saw the intensity, a lot of great speed, like I said, and these three guys gave us like a great opening. That's how you just start a show. You know, really hard, you know, even better than sometimes what AEW does, but it's not compare, you know, we're not trying to compare here, but it was just, you know, pretty enjoyable. and then you got to see like Joseph Alexander like will do the ankle lock onto Ace Austin, so that was really great. Like I thought that he was going to win with that. I thought he was going to make him tap out. You know, a lot of wrestlers that have like the Olympian background, I have like most like the gear like pretty similar to Kurt Angle, they always adapt that move. They use that move like they make in their own. And then you see like Ace Austin in pain. He was about to tap out. Madman Fulton caused a lot of distraction, interference. Here TJP does the Mamba Splash. Also, like I thought that TJP was going to steal the win right here, but no. Joseph Alexander connects like this beautiful move that he has is like the underhook pile driver. He calls him the divide interference, and then you know he is able to pin. He moves TJP out of the way. He's able to pin Ace Austin. We have a brand new X Division champion in Joseph Alexander. I think it's like the right decision for this guy. He deserves it. He's a hell of a wrestler, and also now that he doesn't have Ethan Page anymore with him for to be part of the North, so he's able to have his singles career. He's a rising star. I can see him as an Impact, you know, champion in the future. So that's pretty good. Pretty good luck for like also Joseph Alexander. He deserves it. Great, hell of a match. I was like absolutely, you know, happy that like this match opened the show, because that's how you open the, you know, that's how you open a pay-per-view, especially if everybody's seeing this. It's not one of the Impact Plus specials, it's just a pay-per-view, so you need to start really hard with that, and that's what they gave us. Let's switch gears to like an 8-man tag match. You know, this is like the greatest faction right now in professional wrestling for me. Violent by Design. Even you guys can hear it. I have the theme song right there for you guys. You know, they are going to go against Eddie Edwards. They're going to go Chris Sabin, Willie Mack, and also Cowboy James Storm. So this, you know, also when we found out that like Eric Young was injured, we found out that in the early tapings, you know, like a month ago, like he was going to be sidelined for like at least 5-6 months. So that was pretty unfortunate, because Eric Young is going to miss this, but still he's the leader of like Violent by Design. Like we mentioned, we did the coverage for Hardcore Justice. He and his group is absolutely on fire. They need to be ruling Impact Wrestling. So Rhino, Diener, Joe Doran, they were like absolutely on fire. They need to, like I said, be the centerpiece of what is Impact right now. Now that like you have the other situation taken care of, which we're going to talk about in just a little bit. But like I said, Eric Young is sidelined. So like they said, hey, you know, you need another guy to like be a 4 against 4. So like there was a lot of rumor and also spoilers. They say that like an ex-WWE guy will be handy and we in hand for like it's going to be this rebellion thing, and it turned out to be you know, the guy that like, because they used to come out with Enzo Amore, so we're going to talk about that in just a little bit. But like Eric Young is talking to the guy here before the match started. He says, you know, hey, you're not part of the group yet, you know, you don't embrace the vision yet, but like we know what we can do, and if you actually help us, maybe you can just join the team and be one of us, you know, because it's like Violent by Design always like tries to like keep it all for them. It's like the world is not for you guys, it's for us. You know, we're here to purify every single one of you guys. So like like a lot of people were thinking who's gonna be. I mentioned Enzo Amore, so a lot of you probably already know. And it's Big Cass. It's Big Cass. He made his return to pro wrestling a few months ago in one of the independent shows. The guy is absolutely like ripped. He actually is cleaning his act. You know, he's trying to have another opportunity, a second, you know, opportunity was going to be professional wrestling. He left the WWE, you know, not in such a great light, so that's why he's trying to like do Impact, you know, see if his career can reborn, and this is the best opportunity to do so. He's joining Violent by Design. He's going to be the 4th member, and then he's going to be under the name W. Morrissey. So like he's not going to be Big Cass anymore. Of course, he doesn't own the rights for that. WWE probably owns the rights for that name, but you know, he's right there with Eric Young. And the match that they gave us, you know, this 8-man tag, not too great. I think it was pretty decent though. Like everything, Eddie Edwards did pretty good, James Storm also, you know, but like the main focus of the match was again Morrissey, in this case, or Big Cass. We're gonna call him Morrissey just because, you know, we gotta go along the Impact's guidelines. So there you go, like you see the big stare down. The guy's absolutely good, in the greatest shape that I ever seen. Big Cass, even way better than what we saw in the WWE. So like you see like also like the interactions between like Willie Mack, Jay, you know, Edwards, and also Chris Sabin trying to protect the team. They try everything they could. They always have the big spot right there, the big superplex Diener, and that was Chris Sabin, and then they fell on top of everybody else. They do that in every single show in AEW. That's, of course, they gotta make everybody involved in it. Eric Young was also like sitting down in a chair and just looking and then supporting the team, kind of like giving directions and everything. So like then you see Big Cass delivering like his spinning sidewalk slam that he does, a pretty good move onto Willie Mack. So I think that's going to be the first feud that we're going to see Big Cass or Morrissey. So like he delivers that, a pretty good powerful move, and then they get the win, 1, 2, 3. And you see like the new addition to what is going to be Violent by Design. Morrissey, W Morrissey, or like AKA, Big Cass for like the WWE fans. So now this group is absolutely. If you needed more strength, there you go. You have also a tall guy. If you think that like Joe Doran is not like enough, there you go. You have now Morrissey. So this group, I feel that like starting like after this, they need to be the centerpiece one more time of what is going to be Impact Wrestling. I'm really happy that Morrissey is getting another opportunity on professional wrestling. He deserves it. The guy likes it. Maybe he made a mistake. Hey, we all did that. What about having this group and make them the biggest faction in professional wrestling right now? The Hurt Business is not in business anymore, but it's worth to say that, like, they split up. So now what about these guys? Violent by Design. The concept is really good. The narrative is great. You can do a lot of things with this character. Let's do it. It was really, really fun. So now let's go to like the match of the best friends. These guys know each other since we're kids. They actually build each other up. They learn professional wrestling together. They train with Mikey Whipwreck. So all of that story goes into Brian Myers and also Matt Cardona. So they had a pretty good match. I liked it. The narrative was pretty good. There you go, Matt Cardona coming out with spikes. Different gear for what is going to be Rebellion. A lot of people, they were trending number 2, and also on Twitter. Why? Because the Oscars were number 1. So like you kind of see that they should have never done it on the Sunday, but they didn't want to compete to the UFC. So maybe Oscars, UFC, you can see what choice they got right there, like the Impact creative team. So like going back to the match again, Cardona and Brian Myers, they gave us a pretty decent story. You see right there, Brian Myers giving Cardona the finger, all of that. And at the beginning, Cardona took the upper hand. He was trying to deliver like his move, like also the Code of Silence. He did it on the outside, and then trying to take out really quick Brian Myers. But then Brian Myers will equalize the situation really, really quick with like a spear. He tried to like dominate for the most of the match ever since he got the spear. And also Cardona was trying. You see a lot of physicality between the two. Lots of chemistry. They have their podcast. They're best friends. They can tell you like a really great story. And then you saw at the end, they kind of recreate a spot that like Mark Cardona did on 2016. But at that time, he was a member of the High Bros with like Mojo Riley. In this case, it wasn't for real. Mark Cardona did like he just landed on his knee, and then the knee gave in. So that's why you saw like he's actually in pain. He was actually suffering. For a second, I thought, okay, he's actually in pain. But no, it was just like an injury. And then Brian Myers then got the situation control, and then he actually took advantage of it, and then he delivered the roster cut. That does this big like clothesline that he does into like a Matt Cardona that he could not defend himself, and then he gets the 1, 2, 3 for the pin. And Matt Cardona loses to his best friend Brian Myers that put him over. So I feel that they're gonna have another match. I feel that the feud is not over yet. I just feel that they're helping each other out, dragging the feud a little more. They need a little more depth into this because everybody knows that they're best friends. They have the podcast together, so they know their history between them. But like the fact that like the heel one is actually good, because then the babyface can keep chasing for another match. Redemption for what is going to be Matt Cardona. So that's really important. And like I said, the match was pretty decent. Nothing really out of this world, but I like what they did. So that was pretty good. So moving on, family, you get to see a promo backstage segment with Tony Khan, Audrey Edwards. You see Jerry Lynn right there, and also Gia. That's the interviewer that they have. Tony Giovanni's right there also. We cannot see him, like maybe just like his like glasses and everything. And Tony Khan was saying that he is right here just to make sure that like everything's fair and square with Impact, and just to make sure he just brought his own enforcer, his own referee, and that's Audrey Edwards. But then Scott D'Amore will like come right after and say, hey, man, like we're gonna have it fair and square. You don't need to worry about that. So like right there he shows you see like also Brian Hebner. And then Brian Hebner, like he says, what about we don't have like a match with 2 referees? He said, hey, to have it fair and square, 1 referee from Impact, 1 referee from AEW, let's do it. So like kind of like they're trying to make sure that like the idea of the match is going to be everything fair and square, and that's fine, And then we got to see Tony Khan, and he's trying to be heel. Maybe he's not the greatest at it, he's a fan. Like a lot of people chastise the guy Tony Khan, but he's a fan that is trying to become an on-screen character, so he's gonna have time. He's gonna need that time to develop himself, to find himself in his own character. So we'll see what happens. Scott D'Amore is more more polished. He's more polished into like the character. He knows what kind of lines he needs to say. He knows how what kind of character he is. So that's why I think that it was fine how they did it. So family, let's go to the next match, and this is going to be for the Knockouts Tag Team Championships. Fire and Flava, Kira Hogan, and Tasha Steelz going against Jordan Grace. We knew that she was tagging with Jazz for the past 2 months, but Jazz unfortunately was retired by Deonna Purrazzo. So in the middle of her retirement speech, Fire and Flava came out, so they had a quick match. So kind of just do a send off for Jazz. So Jazz is like, well, Scott D'Amore actually says like, hey, you might have the match if you want to in Rebellion. I can give you a pass, and then you can just have the last match in your career. And she says, no, I'm going to commit to my word, so I'm going to find Jordan Grace a partner, and it's going to be great. So there's going to be, everything's going to be taken care of. And this is Rachel Ellering. You know, you guys know her from like, she's the daughter of Paul Ellering. And also like, if you guys don't know who he is, you can just go and remember the Authors of Pain, the person that managed them. It was like, oh, it's Paul Ellering. So that's, you know, that's what we saw. And the last episode of Impact, we got to see like her debut. She took care of Tasha Steelz and also Kiera Hogan. So you see like this match was actually, they tried to have them up with that, and I really liked it. You got to see Jazz also coming out with them to like make sure that like everything was like also fair and square, to provide some guidance, to provide some like instructions in the middle of the ring, to provide encouragement for these two girls. But like actually the match was like at the beginning a little sloppy. I didn't like it too much, but then, you know, we got to see Rachel Ellering taking control. You see like Jordan Grace and Rachel, they're both like way more powerful than Kiera and Tasha. But that was like, I like what I like from the match is like the story, or like how like Kiera and Tasha, it doesn't matter the size, it doesn't matter how the strength that these two other girls have. Like they try to still, you know, take control of the match. They try to like do some heelish tactics. They try to wear them down and all of that. So like Rachel Ellering also had a really good showing. You got to see like a double suplex for Jordan Grace. No, that's the one thing that I like is like the Kiera and Tasha, like they know how to like always act as a team. They always have like combined moves. Like if the one is just on the outside, the other tries to like wear down the one is in the ring. But like you always see like the connections that they have. You always see like they always know what to do when it comes to these situations. Also right here you got to see like how Kiera Hogan came to the one of the turnbuckles. She dove. So like there was a like I said, mid-match they got like the match actually got really better. And you got to see also like Jordan flying, Kiera Hogan also like doing like a suicide dive and all of that. But in the end, you got to see Rachel Ellering doing like another like power bomb and took care of Kiera Hogan. Also, Jazz was right there, just making sure, like I said, providing more instructions, providing encouragement, because at some point you thought that like Fire and Flavor was going to retain. They looked really good, like they were going to do like Kiera Hogan was going to do like that rolling suplex that she does, or like a running like neck breaker. But no, like also like Rachel was able to counter that, because Jordan Grace actually was taken out on the outside and she couldn't really get up. She couldn't really recuperate to get back in the ring. But in the end, Rachel Ellering does like that big power bomb, and then she takes care of Kiera Hogan, and we have brand new Knockouts Tag Team Champions in what is going to be Jordan Grace and Rachel Ellering. You got to see Jazz also celebrating with them. So that is good, because also like we know that Jordan Grace's contract is expiring in May, so that we're not really sure what's gonna happen with them, or like especially with like Jordan. So I think that they pulled the title, they gave her the title in a way to like say, hey, resign with us. You know that you want to go to the WWE, maybe AEW, but like, hey, we're gonna make you a champion. So it's kind of like, hey, we're gonna keep you, so maybe you can resign with us. And Rachel Ellering, she has a bright future. Like a lot of new women are going to be debuting on Impact. We're gonna be talking about another debut, or maybe like a comeback, we should say. Like, so that also took place here. So I was like really happy to see this. A title switch. Fire and Flavor they're a pretty good tag team, so I'm pretty sure that like next Impact Plug special we're gonna see the rematch between these two teams. It's gonna be another pretty decent match, so pretty good on that. And Jordan Grace, Rachel Ellering, they are the brand new Knockouts Women's Champions. So now let's move on to the next match. This is gonna be actually a last man standing match. This is all about passion. This is all about heart. Sami Callihan, he's actually saying that because of him, Trey Miguel has been able to rekindle, has been able to show all the passion, all the heart that he has, because before that he had all the ability in the world, all the skill, but no passion. You know, he was never able to show that side of him. Sami Callihan, we all know what Sami Callihan can do. He loves to like put pain in like in this opponent. He loves to just like play mind games. That's the character of Sami Callihan. He knows how to play with your head. So like that was like the main story here. And then you got to see a Trey Miguel that like, is going to show all the heart. He's going to be all like also Matt Striker was saying in commentary. He's going to have to go to places that he's never been before, just to make sure that like he's able to beat Sami Callihan. And this match, like, it was pretty good. There was a lot of big spots right here. Like you say, like Trey Miguel did like 2 suicide dives onto the barricade. Really powerful moves, really painful. You got to see like Trey Miguel really suffering, so that was really good. Like I said, the narrative, the story was really nicely told, and that's what I appreciate. You got to see like right there moves that, like I said, like they will be really like painful and dangerous to do, but like Trey Miguel was able to do that. And also we got to see like on the outside there were toys involved, like right there in one of those crates, big like or caddies that they were called. He did like a little suplex onto that, so like really inflicting pain in what was going to be Trey Miguel. Sami Callihan dominating. He knows, again, that's the master of like inflicting inflicting pains in their opponents, going through the outside. He knows how to use every single part of the ring to make sure that you're suffering, and he's wearing them down like the opponent. He got to see also like another spot right there on the outside. Sami Callihan dominated for the most part of the match. Right there, he got a screwdriver, and then he was trying to like play the Dennis right there with Trey Miguel. Trey Miguel, unfortunately, and he didn't lose one of the teeth, so that was fine. Like he didn't lose anything right there. But then you got to see also Trey Miguel a little bit of a comeback. There was a lot of chairs involved, so they have to put, of course, they do those spots that they bring all the chairs in the middle, and then he deliver a big move. Also, like you got to see the package pile driver onto one of the tables. Beautifully done. Really nice spot, and then we got to see almost like for a near fall. So that was really cool. I thought that was the end of it, but it was a last man standing. So we got to see like more spots right there. But in the end, we got to see the ring steps right there, and then they hit each other with it, and then also Trey Miguel will do another big move in one of the tables, and then that's what like Sami Callihan couldn't recuperate. That's when he was able, like he didn't respond to the 10 count, and in the end Trey Miguel is the last man standing. So pretty good match. I really think that like the story I think is going to end right here, because Trey Miguel also deserves like an opportunity for like an Impact Championship, and that's the one thing that like Sami Callihan has not been able to win any single one of the latest feuds that he's had. He had the feud with Eddie Edwards, he didn't win that. He doesn't win this one with Trey Miguel. So maybe Sami Callihan needs like another feud with like somebody like it's going to be main event also, but in this time he needs to go over, because like this for Trey Miguel is important, yes, because they're going to catapult him to like the main event status that he needs, because we're going to see what happens with the title picture right now. So maybe he's going to become #1 contender. We'll see what happens, but this win solidifies the characters as a top baby facing one. It's going to be Trey Miguel. That's why he stayed on Impact. That's maybe why he didn't choose NXT. He wanted to be like a main event player here, and that's what he did. Very good for Trey Miguel family. So now let's go to a like really quick promo by Rick Swann. He's just saying to Gia that like he knows that he can beat Kenny Omega. He's been able to like figure it out. He's not gonna fall into the one win angel. That's a move that like nobody has been able to kick out, and he's ready because also like Impact is his home. So like Kenny Omega is coming to his home to steal the title. Is he gonna be able to do it? Hell no, it's not gonna happen. You know, like everybody's trying to play games with him, but in the end he's gonna show that like he can beat Kenny Omega. That's what he says. So like again, hyping you up for the match, and that's the main idea of it. So now let's go with the tag team championship match, and that is going to be Juice Robinson and David Finlay. You know, like the guys that actually are from like New Japan Pro Wrestling, but they won the titles in the last pay-per-view that we covered in Sacrifice, and against the Good Brothers, another good match. This also, like the Good Brothers are losing their edge. You know, they're like losing like their edge, and that's why they lost the titles. They wanted to like get this championship match like right away, or the rematch right away, because Juice and also like Finlay, they went to like Japan. They had to take care of some business over there, some commitments with their other company. So like they say, hey, at Rebellion we'll be right back. We're gonna have the rematch at Rebellion. So the match was pretty decent. You know, like I know the Juice and also Finlay are more like athletic, more like the speed of the match is a lot better when like also Carl Anderson is right there. Like Big Gallows is just the muscle, like the big spot with like with him. But like also David Finlay had a great showing. Juice, you know, more goofy. His character is more vibrant. So like that's one of like the stuff that you see. But you know, in the end, you got to see a lot of intensity from both teams. The Good Brothers tried like their hardest to like hit like the big moves, like more like combined also. And then you saw towards the end, like they tried, like Juice Robinson and Finlay, they tried for like the Doomsday Device. They couldn't hit that. But then you saw also like they tried like Gallows and Anderson, they tried for the Magic Killer, and that wasn't that they didn't do that. There was a big counter sequence of the match family. You see a small package that Juice Robinson was able to do on Luke Gallows, and that's how like the 1-2-3 came. It's just a counter that came from like the Magic Killer, and in the end the tag team champions retained their titles. And Juice Robinson and David Finlay are still the champs. So that was like, I thought that there was going to be a title switch here, but I think that like the idea is just to keep promoting that alliance that with New Japan Pro Wrestling is working, because they're able to showcase their titles onto New Japan. More audience are going to see the Impact Championships, and also like the Good Brothers are more on AEW now with Kenny Omega. So I feel that that's why probably they just don't need the titles. So give the titles to the guys that actually need it, or like they can actually present them better or showcase them better. So I think that is the right idea to have, you know, Juice Robinson and David Finlay with the title. So that's what we have. So family, let's move on to the next segment, and this is going to be Gia trying to talk about with Kenny Omega, trying to have some words before the championship match. And Don Callis says the same thing, like he's been saying throughout this whole hyping of the match, throughout all these months. You know, hey, Kenny Omega is going to be Rick Swann, he's going to be the new champion, and also like this match is going to be historic is gonna be, you know, something that has never been done before. So like he considers the Kenny Omega the god of wrestling and all of that. So, you know, more of the same, but just hyping up the match, saying like Rick Swann is really good, but Kenny Omega, as much as good he is in Rick Swann, Kenny Omega is a lot better. So, you know, you see like a lot of really good promo by Don Callis, and, you know, pretty, I will say, as good as like Paul Heyman will do. Maybe a lot of people don't like him, but I think that like he's been able to sell this match, you know, like no one else. So pretty good on that. So now let's go with like the Knockouts Championship match, and this is Deonna Purrazzo going against Tenille Dashwood. This is probably like the best match that I've seen from Tenille on Impact, because like just like intensity and seriousness. The seriousness is the key word right here, because just like she came out and she was trying to steal the show. She did not have like this like Instagram like celebrity or like influencer like you guys call it, this like girl that like only takes selfies and all of that with Caleb. No, she came in with a different chip. She came in with like a different attitude, different behavior. So I really enjoy this. Deonna Purrazzo, of course, with like Susan and also with Kimberly. But like they gave us a pretty great showing. Tenille again trying to wrestle. This time again, no more games, no more goofy character, no more of that. And I really appreciate that, because they gave us a pretty good match. In a lot of spots I thought that Tenille will be able to win it, just because like again you got to see right there with Deonna, just like also using like her background abilities, trying to wear down like the arms, try to get ready to like the Cosa Nostra, try to get ready for the Fujiwara armbar. So like you saw like domination from Deonna at the beginning, but the Tenille was able to like equalize to make sure like the match, she had a lot of opportunities also, a dying crossbody right there, a dive-in right there. She really tried to like to show that she's a wrestler, the type of wrestler that she is, which I really like. Of course right there also the crossbody that she does right there on the corner, really good spot. And then you see right there like the Muda lock. So that was really cool, because that's something that she did before on NXT, and that's how she put Deonna Purrazzo away years ago. So she had that picture also on Instagram a few days ago, and she said, I'm going to use the same move and I'm going to make you tap out, because the one thing that she mentioned is like, you've never made you beat me, so like the result's going to be the same, so I'm going to be the new Knockouts champion. But in this situation you got to see, of course, like the help from like Kimberly, from Susan, and also Caleb was trying to win, but like there's only two women against the one guy. So like they tried to separate, and they also defend the title. So thanks to like these two, Deonna was able to take more of the advantage. Tenille here like was trying to win. She hit one of like the running knee that she does, but then you see Kimberly pulling her out of the ring. And then you see like another pinfall, and this is in this case is actually Deonna trying to win the match, but couldn't do so. But then she does the Cosa Nostra, that big move that she does, like a pile driver, and then she wins the match. 1, 2, 3. We get to see like Deonna Purrazzo retaining the championship, but at least when it comes to Tenille, the best match that I ever seen from her on Impact. Her character, at least for me, she looked really good this night. And that's the best thing that she could have done. And maybe she was not the one to like beat Deonna Purrazzo, but at least she looked really, really good, and she was really close to become the champion. And then you see Deonna one more time. She's like the face, or like the person that runs the Knockouts division. But we'll see what happens, because the biggest return, like the Knockouts division, is being high for the past weeks. You know, they were trying to like hit Tenille a little more. They were trying to take care of her, making sure that she doesn't come back. That was the main line that Matt Striker said. Make sure that she doesn't come back. And we got to see Taylor White right there, the return of like a former Knockouts champion, the inaugural Knockouts Tag Team champion, and then she was on fire. She looks absolutely great. She took care of like Kimberly and Susan, so that you got to see like she is ready for Deonna Purrazzo. She's probably the #1 contender. She's probably going to win her spot, but like we got to see the rivalry right there. They already exchanged sides, so that was pretty good. I liked it, pretty good match. So now, family, the next time we see you on pay-per-view or like Impact Plus special is going to be on Saturday, May 15th. It's going to be Under Siege. That is going to be like the next special that they're going to have. So there's going to be a lot of Impact yet, family. We're going to be covering everything, so be with us for that. Don't forget, I give you like all the exclusives right here. Under Siege, Saturday, May 15. That's going to be also great. Another one. This is going to be another Impact special. It's going to be Against All Odds. That's going to be Saturday, June 12th. So again, you know, every single month they give us something, and I appreciate that, because they always keep the product fresh. They're trying to research as much as they can. They're trying to, I don't think they're trying to compete with anybody. They're just trying to solidify themselves as a good wrestling company, because of all these years of letdowns and disappointments that they have in the past. So now the next one is going to be pay-per-view Slammiversary. This is going to be in July 2021, of course, and this one already like is going to be really hyped up, because we got to see in the promotional, we got to see three returning faces that were just fired from the WWE. That's going to be Chelsea Green, it's going to be Samoa Joe, and Mickie James. So already we get to see that like they might be that tease like they did last year. So Slammiversary is going to be a must-see pay-per-view one more time. So that's pretty cool, family. Just be with us for all these pay-per-views. We're going to be covering everything. You know how we do it, Eddie Rowe break style. You guys know it. We love it. You love it. That's how we do it. So now it's time to talk about the main event. Title versus title, AEW against Impact. This collaboration right there, fruitful collaboration, historic, never been done before. Is there ever going to be done again? Maybe, we'll see. But Rick Swann, Impact Champion, going against Kenny Omega, you know, the god of wrestling. This was a pretty good match. Maybe in some aspects were not as climactic as it could have been, but I think that like they gave us a pretty good showing. And the winner, a lot of people already knew who was going to win. They trying to promote Kenny Omega as much as they can, but like they also told you the story that Rick Swann might have that edge to being able to beat Kenny Omega, to be able to pull the upset. We'll see what happened. You know, Mauro Ronaldo was on commentary. Even they did that. Impact went to that extent to hire Mauro Ronaldo for like 2 promotional videos and to like call the match alongside Matt Striker and D'Lo Brown. I think that was really cool, you know, because it would have been just Mauro Ronaldo by himself. I would have been a little bit upset because Matt Striker sells professional wrestling like no one else. You know, I had my my concerns about him, but you know, Jean Paul talked to me. He said, "Hey, give him a chance. I think that he is really good right now," and I became a fan because the way that he talks about professional wrestling is how you talk about any sport. And I really like that. So we got to see Mauro Ronaldo again. He joined the table right there with alongside these 2 guys. So like they gave us a pretty nice calling of the match. The commentary was pretty good, pretty solid. They sold us on everything. Maybe Mauro Ronaldo not on the 10 that he's always used to, like when he used to call NXT. Maybe he wasn't at that 10 and that mamma mia and all of that. He was actually more reserved, a little bit more calmed down. But yeah, you know, of course, very objective, informative. The same style that Mauro Ronaldo always got us used to, like seeing him. So Kenny Omega, right here, we get to see the champion. Rick Swann also came out with like Willie Mack with Eddie Edwards, you know, all of them like having like a different gear. You know, we get to see like the old school mentality of how like we put the match, how we promote it, how we like just call the #1 contenders, and all of that, how we sell like old school rules of the match. We got to see Scott D'Amore, and like this match was, like I said, started out a little slow. The pace maybe not yet. Kenny Omega dominated at the beginning, trying to wear down Rick Swann. And this is one of the spots that like a lot of people say maybe he got, I don't want to say concussed, but like he got injured because he was trying to go for like that cutter that he does, that he bounces on the ropes, but like he ended up hitting his head. So I don't know if that changed actually the match, but like a lot of people, even D'Lo Brown, Matt Striker, were saying like he did hit his face. I don't know, his head and also his face a little bit, so that's why, you know, he seemed a little like groggy at moments in the match. And then we got to see him delivering like also like a frog splash for like a near fall. Rick Swann tried his hardest, but like as the match kept going, he became slower. It's slower. So that's what I don't know if, like I said, he got injured in that spot, but like we got to see Kenny Omega. Once he delivers the big trigger, you know that the match is going to become one-sided, because that big trigger, that knee strike is absolutely powerful, it's damaging, and it just, you know, changes the match to always that Kenny Omega's favor. We got to see he delivered like a 3 or 4 like snapdragon suplexes. That's of course always really painful, and you know that wears out like the other opponent like a really in a bad way. So we got to see also this. This is like a moment that kind of changed the match for a little bit, or like we thought that like he was gonna be, you know, like kind of like in a cheating way or like heelish tactics. Like Rick Swann tried once again for that cutter, but instead of Kenny Omega, he ends up hitting like the referee Brian Hebner. And then you see Kenny Omega was grab the chair. He was gonna get ready to like hit him with like the chair against Rick Swann, but like Audrey Edwards pulled the chair. So in a good move, like AEW's referee like said, hey, this is fair and square. We're not gonna do this. I'm not gonna admit this shit. I'm not gonna admit this bullshit. So Kenny Omega's like, oh, what the hell? It's like even Don Callis like, what the hell are you doing? You're supposed to be on our side. Nope. Audrey Edwards kept it fair and square. And then also like Rick Swann will actually deliver that move one more time on a distracted Kenny Omega. And then we got to see also like he went for a near fall, then no, nothing happens, and then he started going for more beat triggers. He went for like at least 4 consecutive beat triggers, and that completely took out Rick Swann. He tried to like go for the one-wing angel, he kept countering, but you saw as the match progressed, you got to see Rick Swann more and more worn out. He was still like a kind of out of it, groggy, and he is taunting like, you know, Kenny Omega got Rick Swann to just be like taunting him, and then we got to see Eddie Edwards. Eddie Edwards just more words of encouragement. Come on, man, you got this. You can just, you know, die this. You know, can just like, you know, lose here. Come on, let's go, do it. And then another beat trigger in front of all of them, in front of Edwards and also Willie Mack. But then at the end, the one-wing angel, you know, 1, 2, 3, and Kenny Omega becomes the brand new Impact AEW champion and is also a mega champion for AAA. So this guy gets all the gold in the world. He reminds us of Kurt Angle when he was IWGP champion. He was actually Impact champion. He was tag team champion. So like Kenny Omega keeps adding more titles to his collection, and like Mauro Ronaldo said, like OMG for Kenny Omega. So like, you know, this guy is absolutely on fire, and that story, like everybody knew that he was gonna win it. They've been pushing this guy to the moon. The story calls for it. So we'll see what happens, because maybe Moose could be, like we mentioned, the guy that like takes the title away, at least the Impact title from Kenny Omega. He brings it back with like from Impact. We'll see, but like at least in this situation, they did what everybody thought they were going to do. They didn't pull any upsets. They didn't do anything different. And Kenny Omega becomes, like I said, a triple champion. He has all the gold in the world, and as of right now, I think that he's the best wrestler in the world. A pretty good pay-per-view. I want to say like a pretty decent, you know, showing for like a lot of superstars. Tenille Dash would surprise me. Really good showing. Trey Miguel, absolutely solid. Josh Alexander also. They debuted Rachel Ellering. A lot of good things happen in this pay-per-view family. So I really like that. Taylor Wilde coming back is also great. And now Kenny Omega rules out both. He's ruling AEW and also Impact, so we're gonna be forced to like see Dynamite and also Impact just to see the champion, how he addresses the celebration and everything. So family, this is your review for Rebellion 2021. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys liked it. Like I said one more time, please subscribe to the channel, you know, hit the bell for notifications, and also give the video a like so it goes higher in the rankings. I'm Juanzo. Thank you so very much, family. I hope you enjoy your night, and tomorrow don't forget Jean Paul WWE Monday Night Raw review. And I only have one thing that is left to say for every single one of you, and that is